Hey there, and welcome to the Flourish and Health podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I'm so glad that you are here. October is here. We're in full swing of October, and it's crazy. We are in the last quarter of the year, and this is the time of year where things just start. The time just multiplies, doesn't it? Like it's you blink and it's Halloween, and then it's Thanksgiving, and Christmas is over, and it's New Year's, right? It just feels so quick at this time of year. So I just thought I would jump in today and just talk a little bit. I feel like the last 5 weeks we've been talking about routines and habits, and I hope that those have been helpful to you. If you missed any of them, make sure to go back and look at what different routines you can add into your life to help you create the life that you want to live. But yesterday I had the privilege of speaking at a women's entrepreneur network summit. It was really, really fun to be able to connect with other women who are in business, who all have that common purpose, right? We all have someone that we want to serve, someone that we care about, somebody that is on our mind as we speak and as we talk. And the person that I was speaking to yesterday, which I think a lot of my audience or people that are listening to me might even be in this space where you are an entrepreneur. You are someone who is working really hard to do your best at the business you're creating, whether you are creating your own business on your own or you're partnered with a company. There's a lot of you that are listening to me that have that as part of your life, that you are stepping out of your comfort zone and doing things every day to further your business and to grow and to reach the people that you care about. And so I thought, why not share a little bit of what I shared yesterday for those people, because it's not something new. And if you've been listening to me at all, a lot of it will sound familiar, but I thought, why not? Because this might be your first time listening to me, or you've been listening to me all along, and I thank you so much for doing that. But I think it's something we all could hear. So that importance of self-care is what the importance of self-care for the entrepreneur was what my speech was on, or my time on the spotlight, the 15 minutes that I had. And so I thought I'll just share a little bit of what I shared yesterday, and hopefully it will be helpful to you as well. Hi, and welcome to the Flourish and Health podcast. My name is Stephanie Book, and I am so glad you are here. My hope is to help others see their life beyond where they currently are right now, move away from places where they feel stuck, and empower them to move into a flourishing life. Together, we will learn to recognize our true identity in Christ and apply a reframed mindset to combat the lies that we've been believing about ourselves. We will walk the journey of flourishing in our health, in mind, body, and our connection with God. I'm so excited to walk this journey with you as we create new habits of thinking and turn toward a life that is flourishing. Okay, so self-care. I know we hear that self-care a lot. I talk a lot about taking care of yourself so that we can live that full and flourishing life. And I want to make sure that you understand that self-care, when I'm speaking of this, it's not about pampering yourself or stopping work necessarily, but it's really about learning how to focus on the things that will bring you the best focus and clarity and energy and all of the things that you want to have that full and flourishing life. It's learning how to implement habits to create the time to care for you. God gave us one body and one life. And so we want to make sure that we're living that to the full. And so we want to make sure we're representing the Lord well in the body that He has given us. And one way we can do that is taking care, being a good steward of our body. And so 3 areas that I focused on yesterday that I thought I shared today was, obviously fueling our body well, getting the right proper rest, and then also finding something that brings you joy to do every day. So let's jump in. So Eleanor Brown says, rest and self-care are so important. When you take time to replenish your spirit, it allows you to serve others from the overflow. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. Okay, you've heard me say that. You've heard that over and over, right? You cannot pour from an empty cup. And actually yesterday, and I did again today, I have my coffee in hand, but I didn't finish it in time to show this example. But honestly, so let's say this bowl that I have here is full. If you're listening, just imagine a really pretty pink bowl. And let's say it's not the best one for liquid, but hey, that's okay. So let's say, there was water in here, and I've poured out a little bit to my plant over here and a little bit into the water bottle, and then I gave some to a friend over here who needed it, and then a little bit more to my kid, and then, oh, my boss needed something over here, oh, and my neighbor needed a little bit here, and eventually, right, it's empty. There's nothing left. And then let's say someone comes to you and says, hey, do you have more of that water? You're like, no, I'm dry, I'm empty, I'm so sorry, right? What happens? That is exactly the same thing that happens with us when we bring ourselves to that point of emptiness. When we have not filled our cup, we are dry, we are completely dry. There's nothing left to give. And so if we don't make the time to take care of ourselves, if we don't bring these habits into our life every day, we are going to be like that bowl, completely dry with nothing left to give. And I want you to be able to live a life that's full and flourishing. We can't do that if we're dry all the time, if we've given everything of ourselves. And as women, as mothers, as entrepreneurs, we are always giving. We're always wanting to serve. We're putting all the people in front of us, and then we end up on that back burner. And I hear all the time from potential clients who are saying, well, the first time I ate, well, maybe about 2 o'clock, or, they don't drink any water. They don't, there is nothing that they're doing to fuel their own body. And then they wonder why they're so tired or why they're feeling sluggish, because they're not even taking care of themselves. And so that is why I think it's so important to make sure that we have these habits to take care of us and that it's not selfish. We are going to be able to show up for those we care about the best if we are taking care of ourselves, because again, this empty bowl gets us nowhere, right? We cannot pour for anything else out if there's nothing left in us. So, okay, so you get it. You understand the importance of it. When you take care of yourself, you build a foundation that allows you to serve others and live a fuller life. True health is about creating daily habits that lead to a balanced, vibrant life. Okay, so those are some great statements that talk about self-care. It's important to take care of you. We want that full and flourishing life. And to do that, we need to make sure we're investing in ourselves. Now, there are tons of things, and I talk about all of these things on the podcast as it is, but there are so many areas that we can focus on self-care. I mean, we just talked the whole month of September about ways to implement healthy routines into our life. Those are all parts of self-care, right? So I thought, let's just focus on 3 things that I think that will help you, will jumpstart you. If it's overwhelming to be like, well, how do I even take care of myself? I don't have any time for anything. These are a few things that I think that you can implement into your life, you have time for, and it's a necessity really to make that time. So the first one is, making sure that you're fueling your body well. Now, I'm not going to talk all about all the nutrition things that I recommend for you. And if you want more help with that, you can always reach out to me, and I'd love to have a conversation with you about how my program helped me and how it might help you. But today I am wanting just to focus on one of those habits, and that is hydration. I was challenging everyone yesterday to make it a point to try to drink water first thing in the morning. I know most of us, we grab this coffee, right? We grab that liquid courage or whatever you want to call it to be able to start that day off well. But my challenge for you is if you start your day off with water, you will notice a difference. First of all, our bodies are super dehydrated. So all night, our body is using what it has to be able to restore our bodies, to bring us back for the next day, but we are dehydrated. And so when we start our day off with a glass of water, not only do we rehydrate our body, it awakens our brain, it awakens our body, and we actually have more energy. Actually, the water brings that for you. And so maybe while your coffee's brewing, you drink that cup of water. If it's a whole glass is too much, I don't care. Start with 4 ounces, start with 2 ounces, but start that habit. And I challenge you for 1 week, try making sure that the first thing that hits your lips in the morning is some water, okay? And then I guarantee you'll see a difference. If you go a whole week and you don't notice any difference every single day for 7 days and you don't notice a difference, let me know. And I would love to talk to you about it because I think it really will make a difference. Plus, once you start off your day with water, your body actually wants more water. And so it craves that water and it looks for more water. And so in the afternoon, maybe instead of grabbing that coffee or, that diet soda or whatever it is that you're grabbing, maybe try to drink a glass of water first. If you're feeling really, really hungry and you ate not that long ago, try a glass of water. It's amazing what water can do. So anyway, I won't talk anymore about hydration, but it's so important to hydrate your body and try to do that in the morning. So, and I know I've talked a lot about hydration, but this is a little bit different perspective and just on how maybe taking care of you, that's one thing. It's a very simple thing. We all most likely have access to water of some sort. And so it's a simple thing that you can do to take care of you. The second one is sleep. Now, this one might be a little bit harder, but we all need to sleep. So we have that in common, right? So making sure that you get the proper amount of sleep is going to help you. And as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as someone that is really have a lot of things on their plate, I know that sleep can be one of those things that we push aside. Believe me, I used to be the one, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead, because I just did not want to sleep. I didn't want to stop doing the things that I wanted to do, and sleep was not a priority. But as I've learned, how to take care of my body, I've learned the importance of how sleep really helps me. It actually helps me be more productive. It helps me to have the energy that I need because my body is getting that proper rest. They say 7 to 8 hours for every night to get the best amount of sleep. I'm probably between 6 and 7, I'll be honest. But when I have that full night's sleep, I do feel better. I feel refreshed. Now, sometimes we can sleep too much, and most likely a lot of you don't have that trouble. If you're, someone that's busy, you're an entrepreneur or something like that, you are probably getting less sleep, most likely, than more sleep. But we also want to be careful of that too, because we can get past that rest and it almost does that reverse effect. Our bodies just are sluggish and have a hard time getting moving if we've slept too long. And I've known that before. Now, sometimes we need a little extra rest. Maybe we need to take a day off and just get that rest, do some sleep, do some downtime, because that's what our body needs. But for the most part, let's aim for that 7 to 8 hours. One thing you can do to help start implementing this, if you're someone that stays up super late, because I know when I'm working on a project or wanting to make sure I get something out for you in time, sometimes I will push that needle of sleep back later and later. So some of you might be, oh, I don't go to bed before midnight. I mean, I have a few people I talk to, like 2 o'clock is when they go to bed. I'm like, oh my goodness. Now they might sleep in a little bit, but usually most often they have to be up like 6 or 7 a.m. and that's not a lot of sleep. And so if this is hard for you, if this is something that's brand new for you, a couple tips I would say is, one is start small, little baby steps. So if you're normally going to bed at midnight, maybe try 11:45 and do that for a week or so until you start getting in the rhythm. And then you can back it down more so that you're slowly building up that sleep. We do the same thing if we want to wake up earlier, right? I've talked about that before, where we slowly back down the time that we're waking up. So we're not making this big, huge jump, because most likely if we're not creating that habit, it's not going to stay. Another thing you can do is put an alarm on your phone to say, hey, it's time to start settling down, telling your brain, oh, when this goes off, the computer gets shut off, or the TV goes off, or whatever it is that's keeping you stimulated at night, and say, okay, at 10 o'clock p.m., everything goes off. And sometimes that helps you. There's actually a way, and I have not tried it myself, but I have talked to some people, and you can actually program your computer to shut down at a certain time of night. So if you don't want to listen to your alarm, just have your computer just shut right down. Or I think you could do it with your TV, but I'm not techie that way, so I don't know. But look for those ways that you can maybe even automate those ways to start making you stop and slow down and causing you to get more ready for that night of sleep. We talk a lot about, having time and downtime. And we talked about that in the evening routine, about slowly bringing yourself to a point before getting yourself ready before you hit the pillow. But today I was just wanting to talk mostly about sleep and implementing, making sure that you are monitoring how much sleep you're getting and see what things you could do to create more rest. Okay? All right. And then the last one that I mentioned yesterday was finding a time to do something that you enjoy. And I love this one because when we get busy with life, we are, like I said, as an entrepreneur, we're running and doing all the things and all the tech things and making sure everything is going how we want and connecting with our clients and on and on and on, right? A business owner, it's the same thing. If you are always serving, as a mom, you are serving, maybe at your job, it's really important to you. Maybe you're serving in a lot of different places outside of your job. And so you're running and running and running. But sometimes we are so busy doing all the things that we don't take any time to really enjoy what we have in front of us. We kind of almost lose sight of why we work so hard in the first place because we haven't made that time to do something that brings us joy. And so what is something that you could do that you enjoy, that fills up your soul, that refreshes your soul in a different way. Maybe you really love being outside. And so maybe instead of bringing the computer and the book and all the things and outside, maybe you just sit out there with your water or your cup of coffee in the afternoon and just take in what's the beauty around you. Just look around, listen to the sounds, look at the birds, just enjoy that time if that's something you enjoy. Maybe you really love photography, but you have not spent time doing that. So maybe take a little walk and take some pictures of some things. Maybe you're really into crafting, or maybe you are a painter. Have something set aside and put it on your calendar. Say, Tuesday at 2:00, I am bringing out my paints and I'm going to paint for 15 minutes. I'm not talking huge commitments here. I mean, if you already have this in your schedule, I commend you, because that's awesome. But what is something that brings you joy, that fills up your cup? Maybe it's listening to some music and just dancing around. I don't know. What is it that brings you joy, that reminds you of, this is why I work so hard? Maybe if you're a mom and you're constantly busy doing all the things for the kids and you feel like you're just running, like maybe it's just like, hey, let's go for a walk together and just have a good time. Or, maybe let's curl up and read a book together. And that would be a way that brings you joy, because if you're able to work at home or be with your kids at home, we want to treasure those times, because believe me, they go by really fast. So I challenge you, at least once a week. I would love if you did it every day, but at least once a week, what is one thing you can put on your calendar today that you will do in the next week for yourself? What's that one thing that brings you joy, that can fill your soul, that you would really love to be able to take the time to do this week for you, to remind yourself of what it is, why you work so hard? If we're not reminded about the things, if we don't bring in the joy and we're always working, I think we become burned out. Just like when we don't have the proper nutrition and water, if we don't have the right sleep, I hear all the time that people are overwhelmed, that they're tired, that they're worn out. And I think a lot of times it's because we just don't take that time to care for ourselves. So I hope today was helpful. I really just thought, hey, why not share all of this that I shared with them yesterday? I altered it a little bit for you today, but I hope that I've inspired you to look at some of those habits that you've had over the last month that we've talked about and with our routines, and implement some of these things. Make a few of these things priority, because you are important. You are worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. And these are some ways that you can do it. Thank you so much for listening. Again, as always, if you think this would encourage anyone, please pass it on to them. Thank you so much for joining me as we walk towards this life of flourishing. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, and would love, love, love for you to take a moment to subscribe to my podcast and maybe even leave a review. Likes and reviews like yours will allow my podcast to be seen by others and hopefully help them as they walk through their own journey of growth. So until next time, please remember that you are amazing, my friend, and you are meant to live a life full and flourishing. Take care.